Hey guys, this is Jay Calder with JAYONBOXING here, giving you a preview and prediction for Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol 2. But before we get started, of course, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and be sure to leave your picks, your takes down in the comments section below. I do greatly appreciate all the support. Now then, a little bit of fight info here. As mentioned, we have Beterbiev taking on Bivol in a return from their 2024 encounter. This will be at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, airing on DAZN pay-per-view in the light heavyweight division, with Beterbiev's Ring Magazine, IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO titles on the line. Well, damn. Turki Al-Sheikh is spoiling us with this one. A rematch of their very close 2024 encounter, we get another undisputed light heavyweight battle between number 1 and number 2 in Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, respectively. You know, their first fight in October of 24 was a majority decision for Beterbiev, and more importantly, was a damn good fight. Could this possibly exceed those kinds of expectations? Believe it or not, I think it can, and it will, because Beterbiev wants to close the show, and Bivol knows he probably needs to do a bit more. That is a fight of the year recipe if I've ever heard one, and I have, and that's one of them. Now, did I just jinx the fight? Maybe. Still, these fighters are good enough, and this fight itself is good enough to find a way around the curse that I just put on this fight. Still, who gets it done the second go-around is the big question. But before I answer that one, let's get into some of the biggest questions we have leading into the contest. First, I would ask, does Beterbiev have the mental edge? I mean, you have to say he does. Did he really shake Bivol to his boots or take him completely out of their first fight? No, but he knows, at the very least, he has enough to beat a very good version of Bivol. That has to play into his mental wherewithal. For Bivol, it will be about replanting some concerns into Beterbiev's head early in their second installment. For Beterbiev, it will be about making sure he doesn't give Bivol that chance. But yeah, nothing gives you the edge quite like winning the first fight. I would also ask, can Dmitry Bivol improve? It was a close fight, and I actually thought Bivol did well and maybe even did enough to win, but perhaps on some level, he will need to get through another gear. Luckily for Bivol, I think he has that gear in him. Unluckily for Bivol, that could mean taking more risks against one of the hardest punchers pound per pound in boxing. No big deal. Still, those are the breaks. Bivol needs to step forward more, put it on Beterbiev a bit more, and if he's able to do that, this improvement could pay off. But that if is a pretty sizable one. And finally, I would ask, do we see a knockout this time? And that depends on how these guys approach this fight. But I will say this, I think it's more likely this time than it was the last time. You know, both are methodical, so calculated, they take their time, download their info, and then move forward. That's their natural inclination. This time, as mentioned, I feel both want to settle it. Beterbiev wants to take it a step further and get the finish, and Bivol wants to prove he is indeed the better man. Because of that, I can see either man either forcing the stoppage or walking into a fight-ending shot in the process. But either way, it kind of depends on who's going to adjust more, and I think it will pay off with a more exciting and even more explosive encounter. So, in short, a decision is still favored, but by less in my opinion, and correctly so. Still, all of that said, let's get into this pick and break this fight down. Starting off with the champion here, for Beterbiev to win, I think you want to vary the jab. And I think that's going to be important because you don't just want to throw out a very one-dimensional jab. You know, I think you did that especially early in that first encounter a bit too much, where it was kind of easy to tame and easy to understand for Bivol. In my opinion, vary it. Sometimes throw it a little bit around the guard, sometimes arch it, maybe a little bit of an up jab. Do things to just change the look of that jab, maybe either a speed thing, a power thing, whatever it is, just add some variety to it. You can even attack down to the body with it, which I think will be important for you. You need to attack the body. You need to slow the movement of Bivol down, take some of the zap out of his punches, because he might be just a tick faster than you, and you obviously don't want to have to compete with that, so attacking the body makes a hell of a lot of sense. You also do that pretty well with both hands, so you have certain options for trying to get that goal done. And this body attack can also limit some of that sort of second wave that Bivol tries to catch. You want to be able to make sure you can actually limit that. Attacking the body, getting that jab in his face can definitely do that. You can slow him down, take some of the air out of his lungs, and just allow for you to continue to press on the gas and apply the pressure you're looking to apply. One of the ways you'll be able to do that a bit more is by cutting off the ring. I think you did that pretty well in the first encounter, but I think it can be improved upon because at times you were chasing just a bit too much. Maybe throwing something like a lead hand hook might tame him and kind of corner him a bit more. Just you being a little quicker with that first step to the side to cut off his exits. But either way, limit his ability to circle out of danger, and I think you'll give yourself more opportunities. This might also walk him into that right hand. If you're forcing him to kind of sit there and fight with you a bit more, you can maybe sit back at times when he starts trying to reply and walk him into your big money shot. I think if you have a chance at stopping him, which of course you do with your power, that right hand could certainly be the leadoff punch to do so, and if you can frustrate and limit his movement, all the more likely that he steps into that big shot. And of course, this all ties together much better if you're able to let your hands go in general, especially early on. You did at times just keep your hands in the holsters a bit too much. You were kind of looking for ways to get them going, but because of the movement and sort of the inability for Bivol to stay still, it forced you to have to reset far too much. If you're able to attack that body and tame him, make sure that you're cutting off the ring correctly and trying to walk him into that shot, it forces him to stand and fight a bit more, which I think in general favors you in this encounter and allows for you to get some of those combinations that you can throw very well going earlier in this encounter and give you more success. Now, switching over to Bivol, for the challenger to win, I think you need to push Beterbiev back. I don't think as much as you should have in that first fight you did this, and I think you need to. It forces Beterbiev to reset, it takes some of the sap out of his own punches, and allows you to step into your own work. Of course, you don't want to be reckless with it, you want to do it in a calculated way, but you do need to force him back so that it limits how much movement you have to put forth in this encounter. One way to push him back is, of course, keeping the jab stiff. You jabbed pretty well in that first fight, especially in the first half and towards the end of the fight, but I think you need to do it consistently with just a straight clinical jab, pushing it in there 2-3 times in a row, just making sure that you're pressing him back. This opens up a lot of other doors for you and at the very least keeps Beterbiev from entry. I also think this can help you build a bigger lead, which will be important for you. You got off to a good start in that first fight, probably winning 3 of the first 4 rounds on most people's cards. That being said, if you know that Beterbiev can finish pretty strong and is a slow starter, you need to at the very least stop his start for as long as you can by getting off to that quick early lead. And this can also be done with not just the jab or backing him up, it also can be done with just feints, giving him something to occupy his time, force him to throw shots that don't land, then you can counter them, and at the very least, you're tiring him out because he's not hitting anything but air. This, of course, allows for you to then preserve some energy and keep that lead building into the fight. A punch in particular that I think you want to go with here, of course, is the check left hook. While you do want to push him back, while you do want to get that jab in his face and you want to build that big lead, naturally you are going to box sometimes against a pressure fighter. When you do that, I think you don't just want to circle out of the way of danger, you want to give him something to think about. A way to do that is by circling to your left and then throwing that check left hook as he's coming forward, chasing you and not cutting off the ring. You land that consistently enough, and he's not going to be so eager to try and rush in on you. You can also throw something like a pull counter right if you're looking to circle a bit more to the other side. Just take the diagonal step backwards a bit, land that pull counter right as he's coming in, and again, gives him yet another reason to not do so freely. He's still going to rush forward, that is the fighter he is, but you want to make him pay for it and set up some of the other work you look to get done in this encounter without just letting him come forward. So these are certainly certain types of ways that you can at least limit that in this fight. Now, in terms of my pick here, I went with Bivol the first time, and I won't quit on him now. I'm riding with Bivol in the return. He will need to do a bit more, and I think he will in the rematch. Bivol will need to push Beterbiev back a bit more, especially early. He'll need to use the jab and quick combos a bit more to occupy the time, and of course force Beterbiev to reset and build that early lead, which I think he will. I think Bivol will regroup for a round or two in those middle frames, and Beterbiev certainly will have his moments, but ultimately, I think Bivol finishes strong and takes enough of those earlier rounds to earn a close decision. Winner, Dmitry Bivol via split or majority decision, and to a trilogy we will probably go if I'm right. Now, in terms of the betting odds, they say I'm wrong. Of course, they have Beterbiev as a favorite coming in at a -135 with Bivol at a +105. The over-under is set at 10.5 with the over -280 and the under at +200. With my pick, I'm getting even money. I don't hate that. If someone agreed with me, I could see that being a reasonable bet to lay. Of course, the odds for Beterbiev ain't too shabby either. Truthfully, I see value in both. The real play here might be with the under, at 2-1 in a fight where both fighters know they are good, can buzz the other fighter, and will pull out all the stops in the return. The under's not the worst shot in my opinion. You can even get better odds if you pick either guy specifically to get the stoppage, so certainly something you might want to look at as well. But in any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 0-1, sad, with 0 exact of course, but let me know your thoughts, your bets, your picks, all that good stuff down in the comments. And of course, check out the social media up top. Check out JAYONBOXING.com, subscribe, and check out another video here. Until next time.